Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're listening to Israeli News Live, well, actually watching Israeli News Live here with Yana, my wife, Ben-Nun, and amazing information Yana is discovering. And we captured this from Facebook already. We're seeing that they're removing this open mic. Eric Napute, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Well, that's the chiropractor doctor that really fights this disinformation and lies that are going on around COVID-19. We did post his video once on YouTube. It was immediately removed. So we reposted on different channel. And you know what this different channel is. So I don't want to say it here, not to draw attention. But this is a chiropractor, and thank you for those who alerted me to this morning. When I woke up, I found this information. This is right before the coronavirus press briefing. So notice what these two people, I guess they're in charge of preparing everything for the president to come out. The one is wearing a mask, okay? The other one comes in, and listen to this.
Now, listen to what he has to say to him. Then we're going to look at a few articles. Then we're going to come back and play this again.
Okay. All right, man.
Where do you go, baby?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's like 0.1 to 0.3 according to USC.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3? There's a study to give out, right?
Yeah, just give it to them. So it suggests the case fatality rate is 10. Seems to be.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
Okay, Yana, talk about what they're saying there, and then we're going to come back to this video here in just a minute when we start it again. We'll play it to where you can see it full screen, so you can also see, because I examined it to make sure the quality is not that great, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, the lip sync matched up with the audio, and from what I can tell, it does. Please talk about it a little bit more.
Well, we were trying to send this and post this on Facebook. He wouldn't let us, and then we tried to send this through different email, and it required security check, this video. Apparently, it's some kind of a leak, and I know that Eric Nephew probably talks about this, and I know they're shutting him down everywhere. So try to find his Facebook. He's a chiropractic doctor, chiropractic doctor, basically. And this gentleman there is saying to this other one with the mask, take out your mask. The fatality rate, according to study, will be 0.1 to 0.3%, which is like very mild. That occurs every single year with just the flu. Now, the man with the mask says that, well, everybody here is vaccinated anyway. So I wonder what's that about. Maybe they vaccinated all of these people there already, which is kind of sad. But what that also proves to me, Steve, is that these little people that work around the president know nothing. They know nothing. They're getting information somewhere, you know, that is the same as we are. So they're getting a lot of lies.
Exactly.
But then, of course, the coronavirus press briefing happens, and they tell the public something totally different. They don't say that fatality rate is 0.1%. Well, then, as you can hear them, the man in mask says it was a hoax.
So it was a hoax.
Okay,
the other guy says, well, I don't think so. But
now, yeah. So that's a leak that happened, and they're desperately trying to remove this from everywhere right now. And I'm sure this video will be removed. So we are going to repost on other channels that we have.
Yeah, so we'll put it where we can. You guys know where to go to be able to see information. So just keep that in mind.
Yes.
And that's the best we can do at this point here. Let's look at the articles, though, Yana, that you were wanting to share as well.
Yes, and this particular article was published February 28, 2020, but it was updated again by Dr. Fauci, Tony Fauci,
It is
on March.
It is in the New England Journal of Medicine, a very renowned news source there, where Dr. Fauci first published it, as you said, February 28, 2020.
26, 2020. Yes, and the New England Journal of Medicine is where all the doctors go. That's where they communicate. This is where they meet for information. This is where they go for information. So on March 26, Dr. Fauci says this. He's talking about COVID-19.
Doesn't he say that originally on February 28th? But it's what it's done is it's what do you call that? You kind of do the update to the article, so he's reaffirming the information he gave on February the 28th. So in other words, the information doesn't change from March to February.
From February to March.
February to March is still the same, and that's what he had to say.
And he says,
originally.
This suggests that the overall clinical consequences of COVID-19 may ultimately be more akin to those of a severe seasonal influenza, which has a case fatality rate of approximately 0.1%, or a pandemic influenza similar to those in 1957 and 1968, rather than a disease similar to SARS or MERS, which have had case fatality rates of 9 to 10% and 36% respectively. So realize what he's telling to doctors, reaffirming to doctors that COVID-19 is nothing more, nothing less than seasonal influenza with a 0.1% death rate, okay, or fatality rate. And it's not even close to SARS or MERS, which had rates of 9 to 10% and 36%. So if we had something going on right now as SARS or MERS and they closed down the whole planet, well, maybe we could think, okay, maybe they're trying to take care of our health and blah, 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 right? But with influenza that's going on every single year, and sometimes influenza is so bad that instead of 0.1%, even more percentages of people die. Right?
Exactly. And with SARS, they didn't shut down the planet either. When SARS came out.
That's right. But now notice, they're telling people Fauci is a liar and a deceiver. He needs to be sued by the people of the United States, and he needs to be punished respectively, immediately, because on March 26, he's saying this to doctors, reaffirming it, okay? He reaffirmed it twice, but look what he said to the public. He says completely something different. He lies to the public. He says at a congressional hearing this afternoon, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, suggested that COVID-19 is a considerably more dangerous than a run-of-the-mill flu. He observed, the flu has mortality rate of 0.1%. This has a mortality rate of 10 times that. That's the reason I want to emphasize we have to stay ahead of game and preventing this. So he's saying, and that was on March 11th. March 11th. This is what he says to public.
All right, let me show something here. All right. This is what's very important when you're looking at this. If this is on March the 11th that he makes this quotation, but as is pointed out in the New England Journal of Medicine, it's on March the 26th, 2 weeks later, this is being edited. You see, Fauci did not make any changes to his original statement from February the 28th. So it's still, even 2 weeks after the article over here, where he's now claiming it's 10 times worse, but in the New England Journal of Medicine, under the edited version, 2 weeks after this post, it's still the same. Right. So he's a hypocrite. And now it makes sense because as we saw the Washington brief, and let's go back to the video again so people can hear this video again. All right. I want to take you back to this once again.
Not to mention, all this information was published by Fauci before Trump came out and told to public that there will be 2 weeks of horrible death that will be very difficult 2 weeks of a lot of deaths. They predicted how many? 200,000. It didn't even happen.
Exactly.
Okay?
So let's listen to this once again, and you'll see. Yes, it is a hoax. Let's listen in.
No, hoax, in a way, it's flu. It's a
Well, yeah,
flu.
it is a flu.
And by the way,
but the
it's
hoax
gone.
is them ramping it up like
Right.
it's some kind of major pandemic, not telling the people the truth, that they're marking people with heart attacks as if they had COVID-19.
And we'll talk about that too.
All that kind of stuff, right?
The guy says, I don't think it was a hoax at the end, but the first guy
Okay.
says, oh, it was a hoax.
It's okay.
I think that President Trump structured this press conference.
Hey, all right, man.
What's up,
Hey,
Barry?
all right, man.
What do you know, babe?
You can take out the mask, Doug.
What's up,
Hey,
Barry?
all right, man.
What do you know, babe?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's like 0.1 to 0.3 according to
Is it
USC.
really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
USC and LA County Public Health come out with a study. They found that there are 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3. Does a study think about it?
Yeah, just give it to them. So it suggests that the case fatality rate is 10. What it seems to be.
Wow.
Which puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
That were infected. And so when they were comparing that death rate, and you take into accountability, in other words, like a regular flu season, people are getting all the flu is being passed on, then this is the reason why, you get the different numbers there. So at any rate, let's continue on, Yana.
Yes, a few things that how they lie to public is also look at this, and thank you, Sister Laurel, for sending me this morning. Mother finds fake Facebook ad claiming her family died from coronavirus. So they're making up fake Facebooks while they're taking out from Facebook all the true information. So there is a very deliberate lying and deception in media, in government. And they have sent the entire planet inside to set up their new world order based on deception. Never forget, Mossad's motto is we wage war by deception, or by deception we wage war. That's their motto, okay? And a lot of people have bought into this. Even believers have bought into this, and they're not able to kind of discern the truth, okay? Here we go. LA, a Facebook ad for a company selling face masks claimed all but one member of a Los Angeles family died from COVID-19, but the story which used the real family photos isn't true. Mother Sarah Ansich says a professional photo her family took for their holiday card 8 years ago showed up in a Facebook ad for Filter Max face masks. The ad claimed she and her entire family has died. Now listen, I was in a car listening to CNN when they said this. They actually claimed that her entire family was found dead, except for the youngest son after contracted COVID-19 at a church service. That's because they're kind of looking at Christians now. They want to prevent Christians from assembling. So they're attacking Christians and church services. So this is why they came up with this fake story. So everybody is afraid to go to church. Now, quotation here, who would have the audacity to clearly not know a family and type that they had died? Ansich said, it's on the forefront of everybody's mind in the news and everything, and how quickly it is taking lives. It could so clearly be true to people. End of quote. Filter Max also claimed in the ad that it's the most efficient respirator on the market and is approved by Food and Drug Administration, but the FDA says that's not true. The ad features video of a teenager falsely presented as the surviving member of the Ansich family. I am curious about the boy in the video too. Where is he in this? Does he know that he is out there? Ansich said. Over several days, Ansich was inundated with with Facebook messages from concerned family and friends who wanted to make sure the story wasn't true. Ansich said she tried reporting the video to Facebook, but it kept popping up in her feed. She says she hasn't posted the photo on social media in years, but the reverse image search on Google reveals the photo is on several Pinterest boards for examples of family photos. It was upsetting. It's violating, she said. I don't know how I could have prevented this, or I would have. Facebook has since pulled the ad, of which there were several versions. The company says in order to crack down on business taking advantage of fear during the coronavirus pandemic, it has banned all ads having to do with hand sanitizers, face masks, wipes, and COVID-19 tests. Okay, so you can clearly see they took a family photo of this beautiful family, claimed falsely they all have died by only that boy he has survived. It was all a fake story. I myself heard it. Steve, we were traveling and I was we were in a car, turned on CNN radio, and they were claiming with a great sensationalism how the entire family is dead, found dead after church service, Steve. So this is what we are going through, complete brainwashing. That's because they want people in fear in their houses so they can roll out surveillance, control of people, and install their new world order. And later we will do a video of proofs how United Nations now has this picture there. They are featuring Lady Gaga dressed in a devil suit, okay? And how China is donating drones to United States, and 22 states now have drones. In state of New York, drones are already talking to people. They're flying over Central Park in New York, and they're telling people out of drones to keep social distance and go home. So we found ourselves in this dystopian twilight zone.
Yeah. One thing, we'll work on these things later where we can actually show you guys what's being what they're doing there. But we want to kind of just wanted to share this with you. And did you want to show this video?
Yeah, I do. And by the way, the Gantz and Netanyahu formed government due to,
and Prime Minister Netanyahu formed an emergency coalition to form an emergency government there to keep their government going.
Yeah, and they also wrote. Anyway, Steve, we're gonna end it here, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you for listening. You're listening to Israeli News Live, and blessings to you.